Okay, there are different things I'd like to talk about. I'm not quite sure which. As I said before, I'm not feeling 100% today because of some personal problems I've had, but I don't really want to go into. I don't want to tell the whole story. Now, I wanted to maybe talk about the stuff that I'm writing and why I think people have that kind of fondness for villains or for bad people in general. Why do we like them? And why do we like, I've been asked this question many times, why do we like vampires? Because they're bad people. But in many ways, bad people, what we call bad people, evil people, I don't know, there's probably other reasons why they're bad. But they make very good material for writing, for fiction writing, because they do stuff. You know, it's like Nike. You just go, just do it. And they just go and do it. There's not a great deal of introspection. And so they make for very good storytelling, because people are not spending all their time wondering why is it right, is it wrong to do this, and should I go for it, should I not go for it? No, they just go for it, they just do it. And that's why they're so popular, because there's not a great deal of conflict inside. Now, there may be conflict because they may come across authority figures. Usually, if they're a psychopath, there's a policeman who's going to try to stop them. If they're vampires, there are vampire slayers like Van Helsing in Dracula, like Buffy. In Buffy, the vampire slayer. Now, there's a new genre. I don't know if genre is the right term. I don't want to sound pedantic but with the Twilight stories, where the vampire is actually seen as a good person. And actually there was a book written, I think, by an author called Susanna Clemens. I'm sorry if I'm mispronouncing her name. Susanna Clemens, who is called The Vampire Defanged, deprived of his fangs, and she is an evangelical Christian, I think. So you may or not agree with her. With her religious beliefs, but I think she's making a good point that today we've lost sight of the vampire as an embodiment of evil. But that's not necessarily that today vampires have remorse when they kill. They try to be vegetarians. Vegetarians in the sense that they don't eat human flesh. They still eat animals, so they're not that perfect. They're not complete vegetarians. But they want to have girlfriends. Now you see Edward Cullen going out with Bella Swan. Yeah, they feel bad when they kill. They try to avoid it. They try to save lives. And the girl wants to, well, I'm not going to tell you the whole story, but the girl wants to be a vampire and he tries to stop her. So, you know, in a way he's a good person. So what does that tell us? Because vampires used to be evil. They used to be even in the first legends in Eastern Europe, they were undead. So there were usually people who, you opened a coffin and you found like bloated corpses, sometimes with blood or other fluids leaking out of their mouth. And they were meant to be scary. They were meant to, people were meant to be repulsed by them. And Dracula has kind of two sides to his personality. He's more of like the modern day psychopath, you know, a very, or like a Jekyll and Hyde kind of person, a very good, a very respectable facade, count, and who's good looking. In the Coppola film, the girl actually falls in love with him. I don't think there's much of a love interest, but he still gets into her bedroom, and she leaves the window open, or I don't know if she leaves the window open, but she, in the end, she weakens and she welcomes him in. So he is trying to seduce, but at the same time, and when they kill him, in the end, he's a really repulsive creature because he's been dead for hundreds of years. So he's a bad person. He's even more evil because he's got a pleasant facade. But today we're a bit confused because today's vampires are not necessarily evil. They could be good. But it's also, I think we've lost a lot of notions of Christianity, of good and evil, and we're very much a secular society. Even America, I would say. I mean, I know there are parts of America where people are very religious, but I don't know if they still have vampires, because times have changed and vampires are very much what we want to be. I would say, like, you see lots of corrupt politicians, movie stars, or stars who haven't made many movies or songs, but who are stars, and I'm not going to give names. We live in a very narcissistic society, so vampires are in, because we want to be immortal, where we see all the people using Botox and having facelifts and pretending to be young. Lots of people who are not too bothered by their moral conscience. So vampires are very much what we want to be. So that's one of the reasons I think they're so popular today. Alright, so this is it for now. I thought that was a good topic for Halloween. Bye bye and see you soon.